Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Moving Markets podcast. It is Thursday, July 10th, 2025. U.S. stock market has been open for about 30 minutes, just a little over that. And so far, Dow Jones Industrial Average up a little bit, but the S&P and the NASDAQ down a little bit. Let's switch screens here and take a quick peek kind of at what's going on. So these numbers are relatively current. They're pretty up to date. I'll do a refresh here real quick and see. I show the Dow up 41 right now on my TV screen. It says 43. S&P down a little bit. NASDAQ down a little bit. I really think the NASDAQ is down just kind of on some profit taking from yesterday. I think that's it more than anything else. Not that there can't be other things going on that are causing it, but I think that's the biggest thing going on is just a little bit of profit taking. There's certainly some concern over tariff talk and Trump putting a 50% tariff on Brazil and Brazil, cracking back and saying we're going to do a reciprocal tariff and come back at you with just as big a tariff. I'm starting to, all the tariff talk, to me at least, is becoming sort of background noise. I don't know how you're feeling about it individually, but to me, it seems like it's background noise as much or more than anything else. It just, I don't think the markets are having as big a reaction to it. I think it'd be a little bit foolish to say that the markets are not reacting to it at all. But I think the market reactions to this noise are becoming a little bit muted. They're just, it's almost like the rhetoric is tamping down a little bit because I think over and over again people are seeing that the threat of tariffs or the imposition temporarily of tariffs is bringing people to the negotiating table, and that the tariff talk is not that he's not serious about it, but it's a negotiating tactic that Donald Trump loves to use. I think that's what it is, as much or more than anything else, is a negotiating tactic that he loves to use. So that's what I see happening, and I don't see it really as a major factor in driving what's going on. I think I'm going to kind of stay consistent with what I said on Monday and Tuesday, what we saw play out a little bit yesterday and today. I just think in the absence of a really big announcement, like a really, really big announcement on some type of new trade deal or some deal getting finalized or going the other direction, a trade deal that we thought was going to come through that does not. I think barring some really big news like that, this is kind of just the way the week is going to finish. Today and tomorrow, you're just going to kind of finish with this week looking extremely flat, maybe even a little bit more sell-off in the absence of some really good news, because this was a big run-up. This was a massive recovery run-up in a very short period of time, so much so that it took the S&P into overbought territory, which is very rare. The S&P 500 just doesn't very often go into overbought territory. So when you see that happening, it is kind of a big deal. Now, another big deal is in the midst of what's going on with the overall market. We got to take a look at what's going on with a couple of individual stocks right now. Crowd Strike is having, I'm not sure why, they are down almost $20 a share right now. And I don't know what the news is, because this has happened so recently. I don't know what the news is driving Crowd Strike down. I do know that a big intraday move is not uncommon for this company, and we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.5% to 4%. I see CoreWeave doing exactly the same thing. I don't like that they're down like that. I don't like that they're down like that at all. Our Crowd Strike trade that we've got open is somewhat reliant on Crowd Strike staying at or above. This is for a triple play trade that we have open. It is reliant on Crowd Strike staying at or above $490, and it's down to $493 having just been up at 512 or 513. So I'm not. We can maybe look and see if there's a big headline here that tells us what's going on. I'm just scanning these right now with you for the very first time. It's interesting that there's an article or a headline here that says software stocks are tariff proof. And yet here is one that is selling off in a massive way. I'm not going to get overly anxious about CrowdStrike or CoreWeave right now because these are 1 day intraday moves. By the end of the day, these things could be trading back to the upside. They could be back a long ways from how far down they are right now. There could have been some little piece of news that is an overreaction. It could just be a repositioning of assets by a couple of large companies. Like I said, I'm not going to get overly excited or overly worried about it right this second. I don't like the move to the downside. I don't like what it's doing to my personal portfolio right now. But it is a 1 day move, and it's we'll see what happens. We'll see where things finish. We've just got to watch primarily to where things end up. Jeff, thank you. Jeff, I hadn't seen it. Jeff Hall just shared with us. It was downgraded by Piper Sandler from overweight to neutral. Okay, and look, that upgrades and downgrades by analysts, I have found in my experience, oftentimes create a very short-term move. You've got to have multiple different multiple analysts all do sort of the same upgrade or the same downgrade close to each other to see it turn into something that creates an actual trend reversal. I think there will be people that see this as a buy opportunity, and it'll be interesting to see if 490 holds as a level of support. It may or it may not. I show the stock trading at 494 and some change right now, and that's already a little bit up off of the low of the day. So it's almost back up to 495. And remember, we just needed to stay at or above 490 today and tomorrow, and we'll be in great shape on this trade. We won't be there won't be any concerns with this. CoreWeave might be a fraction more concerning to me in the short run, not in the long run. But in the short run, it might be a fraction more concerning because if it finishes to the downside today, you've already had a technical crossover on the MACD. If this creates a technical crossover on the 5 and 20-day moving average, and technically speaking, that number right there is 49.54. If we get a full crossover on the 5 and 20-day moving average and on the RSI, which it looks like is happening, you do have a level of support right here at about, I'm going to say that's about 145, and maybe another little tiny level of support here at 125. But that's a long drop down from where it's at right now to 125. I am not worried about what it does in the long run to our trade. To our collar trade is actually in good shape and maybe even can benefit from this move. But our spread trade that we just opened, this is not what we wanted to have happen. It's not what we were expecting, but we've got a long-term trade that is super, super easy to adjust. If we get these crossovers today or tomorrow and we break this level of support right here, which it's awfully close right now, no getting around the fact that it's close to breaking that level of support. If it breaks through that level of support, we'll make an adjustment. We'll roll our short call down to pick up some credit. We'll add probably a bear put spread, not just long puts, but a bear put spread. And it wouldn't hurt my feelings to ride some put options down to 125. And believe it or not, that could actually be a short term, a good thing for the trade, or at least we can turn it into a good thing. So I'm not too worried about it. Look, again, I don't like the short term effect on the position. I show that my CoreWeave position is losing a fair amount of money today, and I don't like that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that's not a big deal. But let's wait and see where it finishes. CoreWeave is off of its low of the session just in the short time I've been talking. CrowdStrike seems to be right now holding above the 490 mark, and if CrowdStrike continues to hold above 490, that's really all we need it to do, is just stay there. So, we're okay on that. Along the lines of one of our triple play trades that we have open right now, specifically AMD. AMD yesterday gave up a lot of what it had gained during the day and finished only slightly to the upside, but it's up strong today and has been briefly as high as 145.21, which would have made our trade overall net profitable. I show that the trade is slightly improved today, but I do not show it where I would like it to be or where I would prefer it to be. So I'm going to watch that one close. If you're in the triple play program and you're following the triple play trades, keep an eye out. I mean, AMD is up $5 a share today. It only needs a few more dollars for both of our options to be, both of our call options to be 100% in the money and guaranteeing us a profitable trade. There's still a chance we roll it out to something for next week's expiration if we don't feel like we're going to get over that 146 mark and stay there. So as much as you're able to, keep an eye on Discord today, and then watch your emails for any adjustments or any alerts to that, and we'll see what happens. NVIDIA down a little bit today, Palantir down a little bit today. Not too concerned with either of one of those. Along with right hand in hand with Crowd Strike and Coreweave, you got PA and W down as well, and that one, that's a company that I don't think we have an open trade on them right now, but that's a company that I have been trading off and on and am very interested in, and I'm following a little bit, but it's right there with the others taking a pretty big hit today. So we'll see how it all plays out. Like I said, keep an eye as much as you're able to. Keep an eye on Discord. Keep an eye on your emails today. I'm around all day during the open of the market. We'll make adjustments if we need to. But for right now, all we can do is just kind of let this play out and see what happens. One downgrade by Piper. Not something that I'm going to get really worked up about. Not that it doesn't matter. I don't want to paint the picture that it just simply doesn't matter, but unless a couple of other really big analysts do similar downgrades right away, I'm not going to get too worried about it. All right. I don't have much more than that. I'll be online live tomorrow morning, right at the open of the market. In the meantime, have a good rest of your day. And like I said, if possible, keep an eye out for some alerts and some changes that we might make during the day today. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.